Hey everyone, in this video, which is going to be my final video on the Game of Cans series, just getting bored of the game. I don't want to keep making videos on it, but I figured I'd make one last one. I'm going to show you guys real quick how to do Talent Rush. So in Talent Rush, you always want to carry over most of your Sov to Sov Rush, but you want to harvest the low-hanging milestone first. So let's see, I want to gain about to the 1.6 million. This is one of the better milestones. So you want to go for this one, and then you can save the rest for Sov Rush. So we're going to go ahead and unleash talent until we hit that mark. We'll start with Marco. Why not? I'll use up all these. Oh, that might have been enough. Okay, we're at 1.4, so we just want like 0.2 more, so just gain a little bit more, and then we'll call it good. So I guess we'll use him. .6, that should be almost the right amount. Okay, we overshot by a little bit, but no big deal. So we'll just stop there, and so to stop, we need to, let's grab that real quick, it's yummy. So to stop, we're going to go to Legion, and we are going to, well, we need to grab these anyway, so we'll do that while we're here. Alright, and then here we will unequip these. What this is going to do is it's going to drop our Sov down. See, we're now way below our all-time high. So we get to keep those milestones that we already collected, but we're not going to be able to go any higher now that we dropped ourselves down. And just to make sure that we're really dropping down, I'm going to go ahead and unequip these as well. So I'll just put this onto some trash can. And that'll drop me down even further. That one's already unequipped. That one doesn't matter. Okay, I'll drop this one down too, put it on a trash can. Then this one, drop this one down too. And I think that's good. Oh, this one too. Alright, so now that all of our pets are put onto trash cans and our warrior pillar is taken out, you can see my Sov dropped down by like 200 million just from that. So now I can gain 200 million worth of Sov and pass it over to the Sov Rush instead of Talent Rush. So that's what we're going to do. Most of these of my good advisors are maxed out on talent. I think Marco is one of my better guys right now, so I'll go ahead and use a whole bunch on him. Blarp. Blarp. We'll skip past the part of me using a ton of talent because that's going to be kind of boring to watch. So after looking through my spreadsheet a bit, I figured out which advisors were going to give me the most talent, and I put the talent into them. Finished doing that, and then as you can see, I gained up to about 6,000, and my Sov is still not any higher than it was before. And then once we get to the Sov Rush, that's when you'll re-equip these. And then you'll get the Sov from them back when Sov Rush has started. So that's how you want to do Talent Rush into Sov Rush. You unequip the advisors, add all the talent, and then re-equip them later. You got to make sure that you re-equip them after the Sov Rush has started, otherwise you won't get the Sov credited for this rush. So I'll go dive right into Legion battle now. So you usually get paired with 4 teams, but sometimes you get paired with 3. And that team right there is the one that Gaius is in, who's the top ranked Sov player on North America. I'll go show his account in case you're not curious. You don't know who I'm talking about. This guy right here. The guy with 17 billion points. Yeah, we're matched against him in Legion battle. Okay, cool. Not like I care, but my point is just that Legion battle is very similar to Horde battle in that the developers kind of want you to be able to play without spending money, but they don't really want you to have a good time without spending money. And the same goes for Horde Battle or Legion Battle. If you're interested in being like competitive at a higher level, you have to expect to either put in huge amounts of time or money or both. Not that there's no strategy to it at all, but it doesn't primarily orient around strategy. It orients more around raw activity level and raw money spent. The tactics are just like checkers, basically. It's too simple, and so everyone understands how to play it, and so there's no real agency in your strategic, thinking or making it, because everyone is going to be doing the same thing because it's not that hard to figure out, which to me is not fun. Some people may enjoy it. It's not my cup of tea. But getting into the actual play, first of all, there's two ways to organize your advisors. I usually just press auto, this button right here, because it's quick and I don't really like to waste too much time on it. But what auto will do is it will fill up each of your 4 groups with one type of advisor, hunter, mentor, warrior, etc. And then it will assign the corresponding troop types to it. And the advantages of this layout is if you're planning on using all 4 of your squads anyway, which is a good idea if you're trying to maximize rewards, because each advisor has their own individual stamina in this, unlike in Horde Battle. So you'll be able to burn up the most stamina and get the most reward points for using stamina if you fill up all 4 squads. So this is not a bad way of doing it, but this is kind of like spreading your strength out evenly, and it's going to make you burn troops faster, because your advisor power will be less concentrated. And it will probably make you burn troops unevenly too, because your stronger squads, like for me, that would be my fighters and my mentors, they're going to burn more troops because they can hold more troops because the advisors are stronger, whereas my weaker groups are not going to burn troops as quickly because they're weaker and they can't hold as many. You can kind of see that in my troop numbers already. I've got way more cavalry and swordsmen burned than I do of hunters and spearmen, and that's because of the dynamic I just showed you. If you want to be like conserve your troops more and use less stamina, it's more efficient in terms of using troops, but it may not be more efficient overall. It's also more efficient if you really need to win a battle, but the more efficient way is to whoops, how do I take these guys out? Oh, it's not in a camp. I can't edit it because it's not in a camp. That's annoying. Well, let me just do it with this one then. So what you would do, I can't do this because it's not currently parked in a camp, and the advisors that I want to use are not currently parked in a camp. But if you just open up one of the add slots like this and just add your advisors by how much power they have rather than what class they are, if you do it that way to maximize the overall power of your squad, that's going to increase its efficiency in terms of burning troops and in winning combat. But it will not increase its efficiency in terms of carrying troops or generating points from using up stamina. So basically, to reiterate what I just said, there's 2 ways of organizing your troops. You can either press the auto button, which is most efficient to quickly burn stamina and troops. And the other way to do it is to add them yourself and do it by order of strength, which would be the same way as you do it in Horde Battle and is better for conserving troops and winning fights. That's a generalization. If all of your advisors are fully built, then doing it the auto way will make them even stronger. But for most people, your strongest ones are not all going to be the exact same class. So for most people, doing it by order of strength is going to be stronger than doing it by auto. If you couldn't follow all that, it doesn't really matter too much, because you can just press the auto button and it will work good enough. It's not really going to make that much difference, because what's really going to matter is just how strong you are, and that's going to matter based on how much SOV you have, which matters based on how much time and money you've put into the game. And it's not really anything that you can improve with skill, so just don't worry about it. I'm going to check these buttons. This lets other people dispatch your squads, which is good. Wastes less of your own time, lets your allies use them. Auto supply, this gives them troops whenever they're somewhere where they can get troops, like a garrison place. So you want that checked as well, and you want it checked for all of your squads. Checked. So as an example, this squad is stronger than it was now, even though before it was all spearmen, so it was getting the spearman troop bonus. but it can still carry spearmen. It just carries less of them because not all of the advisors are spearmen. And the bonus just gives you, see, it increases the number of soldiers you can carry by 30%. That's all it does. So you're not going to get more power. You will get a bonus when fighting other groups because part of the formula is calculated based on how many troops you're carrying. But to boil it all down into simple terms, it doesn't really matter if you get this bonus or not, because the main thing it's going to do for most people is just make you consume soldiers faster. So don't worry about it. The main reason why I use the auto button is just because it works well enough and it saves me time and hassle thinking about it. Alright, so with that out of the way, you can ask questions if you want more detail on that in the video comments. I just don't want to go into every little detail in this because it would take a long time, and practically speaking, most of these details don't make much difference in how well you do at the game, because it's not that complicated of a game. There's some complicated math behind how it calculates some things, but when it all boils down to it, it's just the stronger people win and the weaker people don't win. So here you can see the Super Horde, which is Gaius' horde, taking everything on the map. And there's still a couple places open that haven't been taken yet. Only one or two, like this isn't taken yet. So you usually want to take the guard towers before you take the settlements, because the guard towers make it easier, plus 5 power when... actually, maybe this one doesn't. Oh, I guess the reason why I usually take the guard towers first is because if the enemy is garrisoning the settlement, it removes their bonus. But it doesn't actually give you a bonus in attacking the settlement. It just makes it easier for you to take it. So the disadvantage thing means that the troop types I'm loaded up with are not good against the troop types in here, and advantage means they are. So one of the advantages of using the auto button to fill out your squads, like I mentioned before, is it will give you 4 different squads that have an advantage or disadvantage against something, but it will spread out your power more evenly. So if you're really worried about conserving your troops efficiently, you're better off just filling up 2 squads with your strongest advisors and then rotating which troop type is assigned to those 2 squads. That's if you're worried about using your troops efficiently. I'm not, because I'm just worried about not using up too much time, so I don't care if I burn through my troops quickly. That's why I go ahead and fill up all 4 squads so I can burn more stamina. But I'm just saying, if you're going to be spending tons of time on the game and you're running out of troops in Legion battle, then you should probably only fill up 1 or 2 squads, depending on how many built advisors you have. Build them with your strongest advisors, and then just keep rotating what kind of troops are in them. I'm not sure if I showed it earlier, so I'll show that real quick. How you rotate the troop type is you just press this button. See, this one is all fighters, so it can hold the most swordsmen, but I can make it... Oh, it has to be in a camp or a settlement. But if it's in a camp or a settlement, you just press one of these buttons, and then it's carrying that type of troops. And the only drawback to carrying troops that are not the primary class is just that you can hold 30% less of them, which makes a difference, but if you're not trying to burn troops too quickly, it's kind of what you want. And obviously what type of troops you're carrying makes a difference in how well you do against various enemy squads. And you can see what type of troops the enemy squads are carrying. So these are regular barbarians. It's not usually worth attacking them because they don't give as much points as the skill guardians. These are the skill guardian ones. You can tell the difference because they're taller, they have more armor, and they have a little icon over them. So usually if you're not attacking a building for whatever reason, like maybe all the buildings are occupied and you don't want to piss off any other hordes, or you're just not sure who you're allowed to attack because you don't have time to bother read the convoluted horde chat, then you can just attack the skill guardians as a default. So selecting one of the skill guardians, we see that he has spearmen. And that means if I wanted to make whatever squad I'm using good against him, I would fill it up with swordsmen. And I guess if you think of spearmen as being kind of like peasants who all got their long, spears and pitchforks from the garden, and the swordsman is more like being trained military soldiers, then it does kind of make sense that the swordsman could counter the spearmen as well. The only one that doesn't necessarily make sense is the archers countering the swordsman, but they do. I guess you could say the swordsmen are heavily armored, so they walk slowly, and that's why the archers can keep shooting them. So if you rationalize it that way, maybe it's not as hard to remember what counters what. So these are spearmen, they'll get countered by the swordsmen. Archers, they'll get countered by the cavalry. So basically what I just do is I just keep clicking different skill guardians and sending whoever counters them to kill them. Eventually I'll go back to a camp or a settlement to refill my troops, And just keep doing that until my troops or stamina get low, and then kind of stop paying attention. If you have a legion that's like really communicating well, and in order to do that, because things are so chaotic, I really think you'd have to get onto voice chat. And then you'd have to make sure everyone's online at the same time and all that. So it's a really big pain in the butt and not really viable most of the time to actually use teamwork, which is similar with Horde Battle, except it's even a bigger problem because there's more players involved in Legion Battle. So I don't really think there's much point in wasting time trying to think about tactics for the battle. I wish there was, but in reality, in the games that I've played, there's no coordination whatsoever until the middle opens. Maybe a tiny bit of coordination in capturing, the initial buildings, but then after that, everyone just sits around and waits for center to open. Then when center opens, we just take turns swapping the main fortress, which is kind of brain dead. Not really anything to think about. So that's just been my experience of it. So if you're looking for tactics or all that kind of stuff in Horde Battle, as far as I've experienced it, it doesn't really exist. It's more like just a mini game where you grind some points, and if you want to grind more points in it, like any other mini game, you can spend more time or money on it. It's not really a skill issue game from what I've experienced of it. I'm sorry if that sounded like a bit of a rant, but I'm just explaining why I'm not going too deep like into strategy and stuff like that, because it's not really the main point of it. Since Charm Rush is going on right now, I guess I'll mention something I've probably mentioned before. You can you can drop a lot more charm right at the end, more quickly and easily, using the CAGs, whatever you pronounce that word. So I usually save them till the end. I have enough to pass the person who's ahead of me right now, but I'm just waiting to use my CAGs at the end because they make you jump ahead a lot faster, so they're good for using right at the end. Diving back into Legion Battle real quick, because I just realized there's a few things I didn't explain. The shop works kind of similar to Horde Battle shop in that you need a certain amount of points to unlock various things. The main thing that you want to be buying is the general seals, because they're by far the highest value. If you want to get this advisor, I guess you can get them too, but in my opinion, not a great value. There's too many other advisors in the game that take consorts already. It takes too long to unlock them compared to other advisors you could get that are better, like the one from Land of the Lost. The one from Land of the Lost is, in my opinion, more worthwhile to go for, but that's just me. And then the building types and the field I didn't mention. So generally you want to be upgrading your barracks as much as possible, and then once the actual battle opens, you can upgrade your infirmary, because your infirmary isn't going to be doing much for you unless you have troops to heal, and you're not going to have troops to heal unless battle's actually ongoing. So focus barracks while battle isn't open, then upgrade your infirmary when the battle is open, and then switch back to your barracks till the next battle opens. That tends to be the most efficient way of upgrading those. I'll explain the different building types briefly. So the camp is where you have to be if you want to configure your squads. It's your main building. A settlement is like a camp as well. You can kind of think of a settlement as sort of like being a fort from Horde Battle. It says you can resupply soldiers while garrisons. So if you click on each thing, it kind of tells you, what it does. And then the assault tower, Warband power plus 5% when attacking the main building in this territory. So different towers give different things. This one gives you more power when attacking this. So if you take this building first, like he just did there, then you can attack this harder. Whereas these ones are guard towers, so they make the defenders stronger. So that's the difference. Assault tower makes it stronger to attack whatever's in the territory. Guard tower helps you defend whatever's in the territory. Those are the two types of towers. The territory is marked by this square, by the way. So these two towers are defending this. The quarry, you can mine stones, which helps repair the defenses, which gives your garrison units more bonus. They already have fully repaired defenses, so you don't need to mine any stone. Mining stone doesn't take stamina, it's just like a time killer activity. So I already explained what settlements do. They do right what it says here. You can resupply soldiers when garrisoned. Assault towers help you, if you control them, they help you attack the main building in that square. Guard towers help you defend the main building in the square if you own it. The hero monument gives you +5 power when in your region. That means in any territory that you can control, you get +5% power. So all this yellow area is stuff that we can control, so that hero monument is giving us bonus power all within our territory. There's another one too that I haven't described yet. It's the conscript outpost. It's good to get this one as soon as possible. Actually, this one does something different. So there was a conscription outpost that gave you bonus conscription speed. This one just allows you to have more soldiers in your warband, which is not as good. I wonder if they changed all of them or if it's just that one. Let's see. I'm looking for another conscription outpost to see if they were all changed. Maximum soldiers +5%. Okay, so the conscription outpost used to make you conscript soldiers faster, which matches the name better. I guess they changed it based on feedback. But anyway, if you click on any of the buildings, you can see what they do. Just remember that region is territory that you can control. So that's what region means. You know, it's all this teal area for this color teal. Whereas this one, when garrisoning a main building in this territory, territory is this little square block here. So it only affects this little square block here with this settlement. So those are the difference between those two terms. Siege weaponry comes into play when you're attacking the main building. I don't usually bother with it, just because it takes too much fiddling. But if you do build the siege weaponry when you're attacking the main fortress, you can. It helps out a lot. And there's skill guardians inside the main area here that will give you skills that help in here. This center area only. Whereas most of the skill guardians that you can encounter outside the main area, their skills only apply in the outer area, not in the inner area. And I'll go over that real quick too, just to kind of explain it. So when the skill that, by the way, you can only equip any of these skills after you've attacked enough skill guardians, which are the bigger looking barbarians that have armor and a little icon over their head like I explained earlier. So after you kill enough of those guys and unlock one of these skills, you can equip a skill on one of your groups when it's parked in like a camp or, you know, a settlement or whatever. Like for example, if I were to go to formation, this group is currently sitting around, so I can add a skill to it, but I have none unlocked. But once you unlock them, you add them here. You can only add one skill at a time. So everything's pretty self-explanatory. The game tells you how to do everything. But going back to the skills, if it says outer reaches, that means anywhere that's not the center of the map. So that's where this skill applies. They have exclusions, like it excludes allies. And then if we go to here, interior planes refers to skills that work on the center of the map. So basically they made it so that you have to get different skills for fighting in the center than fighting outside the center. I have no idea why they decided to make it that way, but that's just how it is. So you want to get the interior plane skills equipped when you're fighting in the center, and when you're fighting outside, you want the outer reach skills equipped. And what they all do is pretty self-explanatory. I think that's everything that I would need to mention about Legion Battle. Make sure you finish these quests if you can, because the rewards for them are decent and they don't take much to do. Tells me find and defeat skill guardians. Well, there might be no skill guardians left because enemies probably harvested them already. There's no skill guardians left. Oh, there's one. But if there were no skill guardians left, you can just wait till they respawn later and then you'll be able to get some. I think that's enough on Legion Battle for now. So I had a lot of different plans that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to unlock a consort. It's not going to happen. But I was planning on timing everything for like unlocking that consort. Then I can get more Sov after I have that consort and Ken. All those plans kind of got canceled. And instead I just decided to go ahead and try to win whatever rushes I can win now. And probably quit playing the game afterwards from this Sov rush. And then once we get there, there's a new way in Silver Rush that you can use up your silver. How do I get there? Strategies. Yes, you can actually use up a lot of silver here. Every time you press this, it gets more expensive. So I'm pretty sure that I haven't actually tried it yet because we're not in Silver Rush yet, but I'm pretty sure that I can sink billions or trillions of silver by pressing these buttons a whole lot. So I'll try to win Silver Rush. I'm trying to win basically every rush. If you got any questions about anything in the video, feel free to post in the comments. I will keep answering questions in the comments for a while after I've quit playing, but maybe not forever. And that's it for this video.